Hi everybody, welcome to my new channel, Beat Beat. I wanted to use this first episode as a way to introduce myself to you. So if you will, click that like and subscribe button down below and you'll get notified as soon as I upload new content. So I live in Bloomington, Indiana, was born and raised here, home of Indiana University and the Jacobs School of Music, one of the best music programs in the country. Bloomington is a great community, and when people think of Indiana and music, the two things that come to mind are Michael Jackson and John Mellencamp. And yes, both of them are Hoosiers, but Indiana has some other significant music ties. For instance, Mick Mars of Motley Crue, formerly of Motley Crue, was born just about 40 minutes west of here in Terre Haute, Indiana. Axl Rose and Izzy Stradlin, they were both born in West Lafayette, Indiana, home of the Purdue Boilermakers, two words we don't like to say around here too often. From Bloomington, Hoagy Carmichael was born here. He is best known for singing Georgia on My Mind and writing the song Stardust. He's buried in a cemetery about 10 minutes from my house. And of course, John Mellencamp was born in Seymour, Indiana, roughly about 45 minutes east of here. However, John lives in Bloomington, about 15 minutes from my house. Also, a little known fact is that David Lee Roth was actually born here in Bloomington. He lived here as a young child before moving to Newcastle, and then in his teens, his parents moved him to California. I'm guessing that's about the time that Dave started wishing they could all be California girls. So I'm a huge music fan. I've always been a music fan as far back as I can remember. It started when I was a young boy riding around in my car with my mom. My mom would always have the radio on to the local station, 96.7 here in town, maybe a couple other radio stations. But she would always be singing songs on the radio. I remember her singing Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd, Jolene by Dolly Parton, Material Girl by Madonna, I Love a Rainy Night by Eddie Rabbitt, and sadly, Achy Breaky Heart. So I got a lot of exposure listening to my mom and listening to the radio on trips with her. From there, it kind of manifested into a boombox that I had that as I grew older, I would strap to the front of my bicycle and I would take off on my rides to friend's house, to a local pond, to skip rocks. I'd always have music with me. I remember as a young, small child, probably around the age of 6, the first album I ever got, my mom and dad bought me for my birthday, and it was Kiss Alive. I wore that record out. I remember looking at the gatefold, seeing the letters that each of the band members had written to the fans. I remember the little cat diagram or caricature that Peter Criss had drawn on his letter. I love that album. Rock and Roll All Night was the first real song that I was attracted to as a child, that I tied myself to. I even remember the second album my parents ever bought me was Love Gun by Kiss. And for whatever reason, that album didn't resonate with me. It does now, but it didn't then. Maybe it was because Rock and Roll All Night wasn't on that album. Maybe it was because it wasn't a live album. It was a studio album. And in my young brain, I just couldn't make the connection that, hey, this is still Kiss and this sounds great. Don't really know. But I know I wore a live one out, and I very seldom listened to Love Gun. As I got older, the first concert I ever went to was Motley Crue with Y&T opening for them. It was the Theater of Pain tour in Indianapolis. My mom had bought me 2 tickets, told me I could take a friend. She drove us up there, dropped us off. We had a meeting point. They were playing at Market Square Arena. And listen, for having your first concert be a Motley Crue concert, it was absolutely amazing. And having not ever been to a concert before, it really just blew my mind. Listening to an album and having those songs going round and round in your head throughout the course of the day, and then visually seeing what that show looks like live or what those songs look like in a visual aspect, it was absolutely amazing. And it probably changed the way I felt about music because it shot it through the roof. It blew it through the roof. Um, it was never the same for me after that. I was fully in. That, and when you consider the fact that I grew up in the 80s, what I claim to be the best decade for music, with MTV and all the pop culture, references that came out of that, it was definitely one of the greatest times to be young and to be a music fan. And I still love that music today. A little bit more about me and my background. I have a small, modest collection of music. I have about 3,000 CDs, about 1,000 vinyl records. I listen to music every day. Yes, I do stream music. It's kind of a necessary evil nowadays. I try not to support it. I've tried to get my kids hooked on physical media. They don't really have it too much. My youngest daughter, she has a small CD collection that I've gotten her interested in. I think she probably has about 50 CDs. Her favorite song is Highway to Hell by AC/DC. She's in 7th grade. She'll wear AC/DC lounge pants to school, AC/DC t-shirt. I'm a proud parent. So she started getting into physical media a little bit, but all three of them stream. My wife and I stream. Given the choice, I listen to physical media. But streaming, I've adapted as a way to listen to music that maybe I don't know what it is. I'll go to a record store, I'll see something, and I'll immediately either take pictures of it on my phone, come back home, stream it, listen to it, see if I like it, or I might stream it there in the store on low, the phone up to my ear so that I'm not bothering other people in the store. I'll check out a few songs, and if it sounds like something I like, I buy it, and then I come home and I listen to it all the way through. Bloomington is a small community. We only have one, what I call, true record store. It's called Landlocked Music. If you're ever in Bloomington, please stop by and see them. It's a great store. It's up on the square. They have good prices, quality items. It's a clean store, friendly staff. The staff I wouldn't say that they're over the top on customer service, but they'll definitely help you in any way with anything you need or answer any questions that you have to the best of their ability. So it's a great music store. Aside from that, there's quasi music stores in town, a couple spots. I really don't go to them. Their prices to me are high. Their selection is not great. And they also sell other things, so music isn't a main concentration. They might sell candles or clothing items and apparel that doesn't, align with music. So I really don't go there a whole lot. Landlock is my main store. The Bloomington Antique Mall, they do have a great dealer. They've got several booths inside, but downstairs, if you ever make it to the Bloomington Antique Mall, if you're in town, downstairs is a large area of music, CDs, t-shirts, books, DVDs, vinyl records, cassette tapes. The guy that runs the booth, his name is Jeff. I don't know his last name, but his stuff is at very reasonable prices. It's also very clean. He takes a lot of pride in what he has and a lot of care in his curating of those items. So stop by and hit Jeff's booth up if you're ever in town. Aside from those places, the other place I go to is that we have a half-price books outlet store here in Bloomington. I think it's like one of 2 or maybe 3 outlets in the entire country. So obviously they have books, CDs, movies, they have vinyl records, but they're at a discount because it's an outlet store. So I've been able to find and amass quite a few good items from there for a pretty cheap price. Thursdays they do half off vinyl. I am cautious buying my vinyl there because sometimes it can be pretty beaten up. But I've managed to find some really good things, some of which I'll share with you guys on this channel. I'll break some of that stuff out. My channel is meant as a place that we can come together, discuss topics of music, share music. The good thing and the bad thing about music is that everybody's a critic. What I like, you may not like, and vice versa. What I find, interesting for this matter you may not find interesting for that same reason. Everybody has differing opinions, but that's what makes music so great. Music is meant to bring us together, to open dialogues and have those discussions. So I want this channel to be a place where we can come and we can have that dialogue, but I also want it to be respectful. We need to respect everybody's viewpoints. Again, not everybody's going to be a Beatles fan. Not everybody's going to be a Kiss fan. And that's fine. That's okay. You don't have to be. I think the important thing is that we can use platforms like YouTube to not only share our love of music, but to also give insight about what we see and what we're hearing and listening to. For instance, I'm going to do, what you see commonly on these other channels. I'm going to do music reviews. I'll show you some items out of my collection. I'll show you some stuff that I go to my locations and shop for. We'll do all that sort of stuff. I have a few YouTubers that I really like, that I enjoy, and I watch on a daily basis or at least a weekly basis. And that's kind of how I started, is just using them for their information, for what they were providing me. I've got a video that'll be upcoming soon about the new Britney Fox release on Music on Vinyl. It's a white limited edition vinyl record. I've purchased like 5 of these because there's a problem with the vinyl record. So we'll talk about that. It's just a place for us to come together and share music. So I hope that this has given you a little bit of background about me, a little bit of background about where I live and my upbringing. And I hope that we can have some great conversations going forward about music. I'm not here to offer you anything that any other channel on YouTube can't give you. I'm just here to offer you my take and hopefully create a bond with you and have some open discussions. So with that being said, thank you for your time. I look forward to sharing more content with you soon. Be kind to everybody, be kind to each other, and have a great night.